meeting your financial goals is not about making a lot of money. It's really about working with what you have in your income, your lifestyles, and being more proactive and aware of the choices that you're making, because we all make choices. We have a trade-off of where we spend our time and resources.
Welcome to Women We Should Know with international speaker, mindset reset mentor, author, and your host, Leslie Michaels. With audacious honesty and candor, the Women We Should Know podcast presents the wisdom and life-empowering insights of women who are the embodiments of innovation and social evolution. Please join Leslie as she shares potent conversations that will inspire your personal and professional evolutions.
Welcome back to Women We Should Know. It is always my honor to be able to sit in this chair and have conversations with amazing women and to bring those conversations to all of you. To be able to sit here and have conversations with women who color outside of the lines, who defy the status quo by refusing to get into boxes that were created by other people. Women who are carving completely new paths and leaving a light on for other women to follow. These are the women that I so enjoy bringing to you and getting to speak with myself. Women, I have an amazing guest for you today. Sarah Carlson is a thought leader. Here we go, starting right off from the top. She's a writer and financial planner. She helps successful people work toward the goal of living their very best lives. Although many people think money can't buy happiness, we've all heard that. Sarah knows from experience that it can certainly help. Don't we love a woman who can just speak truth? With wealth often comes anxiety. However, especially for those who don't know the ins and outs of financial planning, investments, and money management. A financial planner for 18 years and wealth management specialist for 28 years, Sarah founded her own company, Fulcrum Financial Group, to help people navigate the many complexities that money can bring to life. A graduate of Yale University and a certified financial planner, chartered life underwriter, and chartered financial consultant, Sarah is passionate about education, viewing it as a lifelong process. Yep, that's us. That's women here. Many of her clients came to her during times of transition, such as divorce, widowhood, and retirement, wanting to make the most of their resources. And so she sees herself as a change agent. That's another group of women we love. Helping women prepare for and weather the tumult that life presents and to work toward the objectives through financial planning. Sarah's unique, holistic approach incorporates a variety of securities and insurances. Sarah has 4 children, 2 sets of twins, oh my, and a husband, Andy, who fuel her with the passion. I'm going to start that sentence over again. Sarah has 4 children, 2 sets of twins, oh my, and a husband, Andy, all of whom fuel her with the passion to support and to be her best. Now, here's a piece I really want you to know. Sarah recently completed her book, Facing Financial Fear: 8 Steps to Financial Freedom for Women. Okay, there we go. That's why we have to have this conversation, right, ladies? So without further ado, hello, Sarah. I am so pleased and honored that you joined us today.
Oh, thank you, Leslie, for having me. I'm so pleased to be here. I'm such a fan. I have so much gratitude uh, to you and women of your generation that really have been pioneers. You know, you're the generation ahead, and because of your hard work and you being a warrior for women and women's right, my life, I've been able to do things that other generations weren't able to do. So thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And because you are who you are, the women who come up behind you will have more because of your presence. And isn't that why we're here? Isn't that why we must be here and be really fully present with each other?
Yes, I totally agree. I think there's a lot of opportunity, especially to help the millennial woman. I see that she's juggling a lot, trying to figure things out, and there's so much that we've gone through that I think can really benefit specifically that generation, that female warrior, to help them navigate.
Absolutely. And I absolutely know that they have things I could learn from, because every next generation does have a new expression of wisdom, a new expression of intelligence. And to be able to come together with more millennial women, I would enjoy that thoroughly.
I agree. I think there's an opportunity for us as women to support each other and help everyone move forward. This is not a zero-sum game. This is an opportunity for everyone to get to their goals and dreams. And that's what I'm excited to create with you.
Thank you. Yes, I do believe we're going to do some great things together. We've already started a little bit here and there. Because you are a dedicated financial planner, a brilliant financial planner, a respected financial planner, and a woman's woman, how is it that you are focused? In what ways are you focused on impacting the lives of women, those working for others and those founding their own businesses?
Yeah, I so enjoy working with other women. I found some commonality that many of them need some help in navigating some tough choices. In my practice, I've been in the industry my entire career. I have a degree in economics and a minor in psychology. And there's just so many common themes when women are dealing with their own personal financial choices that so many times they put aside their needs for others. You know, as women, we're always, you know, we're taking care of our partner, we're taking care of our kids, we're doing things for our employer, we're doing things for our clients. And too many times we don't take care of ourselves. And we always think we're going to have more time, more opportunity to save for retirement, to create a new business. And so part of my goal is to help clients create a path to achieve those goals. Because so many times it ends up being, they end up getting stuck and they're fearful. They put their own limiting beliefs on what they're able to do. And I believe there's so few things we can control in life. Money is one of those few things we can. So why not control your money and money life so that it can free you up, so you can be creative, you can be more invested in your relationships, so you can create more in your business. And so that's what I do. I really help to map out, to be a change agent for our clients and help them come to grips and create steps towards their financial freedom.
That's brilliant. Now, there are several things I want to unpack in that. Starting with the fact that it is no secret that women are overburdened between what they're doing at work and then all of the unpaid labor at home. I appreciate you speaking to the fact that there is all that unpaid labor. According to all reports, in 2021, it would have amounted to $1.8 trillion if they'd been paid our horrifically offensive minimum wage. But you spoke about them not having time for themselves. That to me is another unpaid labor cost in terms of not giving women enough space and time to nurture themselves.
You're absolutely right. Too many times we treat our banker with more respect than we treat ourselves.
Yes.
People will prioritize paying and women will prioritize and giving that away. And at the end, there's nothing left. And so one of the things that I work to help clients prioritize is to understand kind of where are they now, how they got here, and then where do they want to go? Because it's possible to pivot, and it doesn't matter where you are at any stage of life, you have an opportunity to live life differently and create a new path. And it's been really rewarding to see so many women come to my practice and be able to coach them through a different course to a different destination. I mean, one of the reasons why I wrote Facing Financial Fear, 8 Steps to Financial Freedom for Women, was because I wanted to positively impact more families than I could through my financial planning, my wealth management business, Fulcrum Financial Group. We have about 600 clients. I just knew seeing those people's lives transform and live such a different life, I just knew that it's not rocket science. It's not difficult, but it does mean changing behavior. A lot of it is recognizing where you're at and then taking a simple step in a different direction and building new habits that create healthy boundaries and prioritize yourself. So it's really going from fear to love in a series of curious steps. I mean, that's the essence.
Ooh, I like that. From fear to love in a series of curious steps. Okay, whether you're jogging or driving, I want you to hang on to that one, women, because that's a powerful statement. Thank you, Sarah.
Well, thank you.
You speak about helping women change their financial future, and the value of that cannot be overstated. Absolutely cannot. What about the women who are listening today and they say, I'm really not in trouble. I kind of feel like I have a handle on this, but this Sarah woman, she seems like she's got it on the ball. I might be interested in having that conversation with her. Do you work with those situations as well?
Yes, we do. We don't have any minimums. And we even have subscription models for clients that perhaps might be, newly out of graduate school and trying to deal with debt and figuring out the balancing act. A big misconception is many times people believe you need a lot of money in order to work with a wealth advisor, a financial planner, and that's not true. You need to have, the one common theme our clients have is they're nice people who want to take steps towards their financial freedom. That's really it.
Okay, there you go. There's your application to work with Sarah, ladies. You have to be a nice person. That should be just a given. And ready to take the next steps. How do you help people examine where they are, what their stories are, what their goals are when it's someone that maybe they have never spoken to a financial planner? Maybe they've spent decades feeling like, oh, let me just pedal faster. Let me just pedal faster. And maybe even feeling a little embarrassed.
So many times people have a lot of shame around their financial life. Research has shown that the overall anxiety of being revealing what's going on in your financial life. It's easier to ignore it than to deal with it. The only other thing of dealing with that raises the same amount of anxiety as being financially naked to a financial advisor is getting literally financially naked with a new physician. So in terms of overall stress, and I think it's really fascinating that so many times women, when they're dating an individual, they're more willing to get naked and have sex than they are willing to share about their financial situation, how much money they make,
Right,
or
right.
what their assets and liabilities are. And so part of our process is to help our clients to start where they are. And many times they will come in during a time of transition. The people that tend to be in a cycle and wanting to ignore it, many times it takes being cracked open in order to realize that they need to make a change. So many times people do tend to come and to seek out help in the event of a divorce or some kind of major transaction, or maybe inheritance, or losing a job, or getting a new job where they're in transition. Many times that will allow for us to have some dialogue as to what is important to them, and to get real, because if you can't be real about where you're at, and then also spend some time as to what it is that's important to you, because so much of meeting your financial goals is not about making a lot of money. It's really about working with what you have in your income, your lifestyles, and being more proactive and aware of the choices that you're making, because we all make choices. We have a trade-off of where we spend our time and resources, and where we want to go. And so helping people get to that balancing act. So many times I've had women come in a contentious, difficult divorce, and where they're so house proud and they want to keep things together for their kids, and coming away with the house is like a real victory, a sign that they've come through a very difficult time in their lives. And yet they're working 1 and 2 jobs trying to just get by. They don't have any extra time or energy, and going through where they're spending their money, realizing this huge house does not serve you at this stage. The maintenance costs, the upkeep. And so helping them realize that many times it's a matter of selling the house and getting into one that's more affordable and something that can better serve them, so then they can free up resources so they can have a future in their, putting away money for themselves in retirement, as well as having resources to do things now, experiences. Because to come away with a bunch of stuff, right, is a challenge, or just to end up with a bunch of things versus life experiences. Many times what we help people create what their goals are, and a balancing act for their needs.
I've read several articles over the last, maybe 10 years, maybe as long as 10 years, that more and more women, particularly of your generation, and then certainly millennials, are shifting from the way the silent generation and my generation, the boomer generation, addressed money. And they are specifically focused on having more experiences than things.
It's definitely a big trend. You're absolutely right. And especially right now, after the pandemic coming out, that's a big shift from buying stuff to having experiences.
Having experiences, yes. Nothing like being shut in your house for 2 years to make you realize what is important on multiple levels. I want to go back to the shame piece, just because it is so prevalent. You and I were speaking about this a few weeks ago. Mutual of Omaha did a survey of all their women regarding their finance and regarding their perspective of finance. And Mutual of Omaha is still a big player in the field. That's a lot of women. I don't know the number, but it's a lot. 61% of those women of all ages, all demographics, said they'd rather speak about their own funeral than talk about their finances. That was appalling and shocking to me.
It is. It's fascinating. It's kind of amazing. Here we are, 2022, and many women feel money is bad, right? It's
That's right.
to be good at it is aggressive. It's
Yes.
not. It's not appropriate. It's something you defer to. That it's masculine, and yet women statistically are so much better investors. We're more holistic, we're more thoughtful. There's some interesting studies on in terms of investment returns with portfolio managers of men and women tend to be more thoughtful in their investment strategies and investment styles, that over the long haul they tend to do much better. Men are more willing to take a gamble or to put more money at risk, which can sometimes result in better returns in the short term, but usually in the long term ends up creating volatility. So women are naturally good investors. You know, you and I started our conversation talking about how you and your generation was really a trailblazer. Well, it was in the early 70s, so in the early 70s, I believe 74 and 72, that women just gained the right to have a credit card in their name alone, and then remember that? And here women take it for granted that they can have an account in their own name, that banks will loan them money solo, but it wasn't that long ago. You needed to have a male counterpart, a partner or a parent, be your co-joint owner, right?
You did. I'll never forget. I was so proud. I'd saved up enough money to pay a full 50% down on the car that I wanted when I was 18. Grown woman, we're not really, but we think we are at 18. So I went to the bank and showed them, my work record at my 50% down. And he said, "This is good, honey. You just come back with your dad or your husband and we'll give you that loan because you surely can pay for this." Yes, ladies, that happened in this lifetime. Absolutely. One of the things that I believe contributes, well, I would die on this hill. I'm convinced this contributes to this shame women have about money is the way women are marketed to. We have to look like this, and we're supposed to wear these clothes, and we have to dress this way, and we have to live in this neighborhood. And they are such unrealistic expectations that even women who don't aspire to be the models, of what we are supposed to be, it moves into the subconscious. And it has a negative effect on how we see ourselves producing, because we're not carrying that Hermes bag that costs $5,000.
Right. So much on consumption. And then those fashions and trends are constantly changing. So for us to feel validated and validated, that's such an interesting thought. But, as women, we I guess women gain power off of their beauty. as well as their connections, their friendships. You know, that's one of the ways that women show their prowess. And it's been, you know, money to have options. Money is one way to have options. You get to control who you spend your time with, and how you spend your time, and where you spend it. And that's one thing that I think is an opportunity, or has shifted in the last 40 years, is just having the opportunity and stepping into that power. Because we as women, we have so much impact on how the economy goes by the choices we make in purchases, everywhere from those designer bags to grocery shopping.
Absolutely. Women are 50.53% of the population, but we still earn just over 33% of the national income. One of the ways we keep ourselves locked in that is, I have a very good friend who is one of the top New York City executive recruiters. And she has always been bemoaning the fact that she cannot get women over 40 to submit an income, a salary requirement equal to her value. And even when she goes back and informs this woman that the company they're discussing, that this woman is an ideal fit, and this company is highly, highly motivated to balance the male-female quotient in their senior offices, the women still will not increase their salary requests.
Yeah, that's a lost opportunity, right? That's a lost opportunity for more women to be leaders in that organization, as well as raising everyone up. You know, when you're a successful woman, it's an opportunity to be a role model and to raise those averages up for everyone else. My daughter, yesterday, I was talking to her, and she said to me, she said, "Mom, thank you for helping me redefine feminism by being a powerful, successful business woman." And I just thought that was like the biggest compliment she could have shared with me, because being successful and being willing to charge what you're worth and having the courage to put that forth is a victory for all women. And we need to keep raising that bar.
Yes, we're singing our song. Also, however, and I know you really work with women to help them unlock their patterns and change their mindsets. One of the things that this points to, this situation with my New York friend, is the fact that women are still carrying those patterns and still carrying those mindsets that require them to make themselves small in order to be accepted at all. How do you approach that with women?
You know, it is so pervasive. I realize I'm not going to connect with every woman. I mean,
Right.
When women come and seek me out because of some of my original content, or see me as a guest on a program, those women know they're going to get a kind of opinionated, bossy woman that's compassionate and
Love it.
helpful. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I mean, I think there's many women that I'm too much of a warrior, especially when it comes time to divorce, because so many women don't realize their biggest financial decisions they'll ever make many times is during that dissolution. And by acquiescing and giving it away, they are marginalizing themselves. So I try to give a different perspective. I think any kind of coaching or advice is to give a different perspective on what's going on and to give recommendations based on the client's best interest and be a fiduciary for that person. And then it's up to that person whether or not they want to take that advice. Thankfully, I've seen many clients, women, take my advice. So I've seen so many ordinary people live extraordinary life because they're able to be coachable. And so much of it too is we can be so fearful, right? And fear, it's bag lady syndrome, where it doesn't matter how much money is in your bank account. As women, many of us are wired, we're just one accident away or one market crash away from being a bag lady. And part of planning and wealth management is to help those women through planning show, well, what if there was a big crash, or what if, half your wealth were to go away, what would happen? And to provide peace of mind, to show them that no, they're in a position, they're going to be fine. And once you know you can be safe, then it can free you up to do more for your community, more charitable work, more giving of your time and effort, more giving to the people you love. So it's really freeing. If anything, helping them come to terms with their money fears, they're able to blossom, and they're not so fearful about making a wrong choice. A lot of people are worried about making the wrong choice.
You said a very important word, Sarah. They can feel safe. Safe is such an important word when it comes to, I suspect all humans, but certainly with women and money, is a space of safe. How do you help a woman who has chronic bag lady syndrome, that maybe when you meet her, she's in a mindset that if she had $35 million, she'd be still convinced she's going to be a bag lady next week.
Yeah.
How do you help someone like that who's obviously willing? They heard your great self on a show or a podcast or read your material, and they said, that's the woman that can get me on the other side of this. How do you help them work with women like that?
When I work with women like that, it's really important to have empathy. I think it's such a natural, true emotion. And I think every person on some level has a level of anxiety. So it's important to understand that. And that's certainly something I work at doing. Then we're able to map out, it's like your money it's almost like different pots of money should serve for different purposes. So it's reasonable to have certain part that's very safe and protected, and a game plan where it's going to be bulletproof. But then if you're too safe and keep, for example, like if you're too much in cash, well, in this environment right now, you'd be losing 8.5% because inflation has spiked. So if you kept too much in cash, you'd be actually losing buying power. So it's reasonable to have a game plan that's growth and income and tax aware to help them for their medium-term goals. And then there's an opportunity to be opportunistic for the longer-term goals. We're living longer than we ever have before. And many clients want to provide a legacy. They might be investing and saving for future generations, children or grandchildren. So everything we do is customized, and everyone's level of risk is different. There are software tools we use it's actually more to do with psychology, because where we will measure someone's anxiety around losing money. And we're able to figure out how much are you willing to lose in order to make a certain amount. So it's a series of questions that helps us give a risk assessment, and we're actually able to score their money towards that. So we're not taking unnecessary risk with the client.
So it sounds to me, as you describe that, that you're going to start with them where they are. You're going to take a risk assessment test. What can they tolerate? What can they emotionally tolerate? And then gently walk them toward that space of maybe still seeing the bag lady in their mind once a month, but at least it's not 3 times every day.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah. And I know you also speak to the fact that it is really important, and any good coach does, but I'd like to hear it from your perspective. Truly important to continually transform your goals and reset your vision.
It absolutely is. So it's one of the other things we take our clients through is to really understand where they're at, what they've getting real about their assets and liabilities and where they are, but also getting real about the choices they're making for cash flow. People forget that where you choose to spend your money is really important. And it's not about depriving, it's just helping them be conscious and proactive on those choices.
Mhm.
And then to map out a plan as to where it is they want to go. In order to be financially independent, it doesn't mean you're going to quit your job. It just means you get to a point where you no longer need to make the income from your job to make everything else work. So
that's a really, really important statement. I just want to pause just so that that can really land with our listeners. That you don't have to be at a point where you never need to work again to be financially independent. You just need to, and finish that statement.
Right. It's financial independence is getting to the point that you don't need your earned income to make your lifestyle happen, to pay your bills, to have your life goals completed. That's always like the ultimate, because to go to your job and know you don't need the paycheck, it kind of changes your filter. You know, if you're running a business, you no longer need it to be profitable. It kind of allows for some freedom.
And why does someone work if they don't need the money?
Because they're passionate about the work they do, just like you, right?
Exactly. It gives you the freedom to chase something that means something to you instead of just a paycheck.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
And also life happens, right? So even when you put a plan in place, you know, life happens. And sometimes there's a big accident, or sometimes a medical event, or suddenly, you know, life really changes, divorce, death, and being able to pivot and adjust the plan. So
Yes.
ongoing review and modification is really, really important. And we do that no less than twice a year with our clients. We have a few that like to do it quarterly. But it's important. So it's not just about like here and now, set a plan in place. It's about taking care of the plan. And it's really rewarding business to watch people's lives unfold in the most magical ways.
Has to be magical, has to be amazing. You have quite the gift. Now, listeners, women, I'm going to do for you what I always do for you. You know I will. I love it. I'm going to put all of Sarah's contact information. I'm going to put all of Sarah's links. I'm going to put a link to her book. I'm going to put anything that she will let me put on her program notes. So just keep jogging, keep driving. Don't worry about it. It'll be there. I always take care of you this way. And when you go there, be sure and thumbs up and like and comment and share this episode with some woman you know who might be on the threshold of willing to take a closer look. It's not a matter of, do we know someone who needs to take a closer look? We all do. We all probably are at some level, that woman. Who do you know that's on the threshold, be a good sister to her and send this episode to her. She'll watch it or she won't, but you could be a hero. Sarah, thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom, your financial genius. You know, the rest of the world, the rest of us need that. We need you out there. And thank you for championing women to understand that they can have and do and be more.
Oh, thank you so much, Leslie. You are such an icon and such a role model for all women. Myself, just so pleased to be with you here today. And thank you so much for having me as a guest. And I look forward to your new book. And I'm a big fan. So thank you so much.
Thank you. That's incredibly generous, Sarah. Okay, ladies, I did it. I brought you another great woman that you needed to know, that we all need to know. How's that for a good day? Be sure and go to the program notes. And remember those nuggets, those words that spoke directly to you, the ones that made you kind of look around and make sure no one could see you and notice that you were blushing, the ones that made you think, oh, I'm not the only one. It's okay that I'm a little nervous about this. Whatever it was, you keep track of that nugget, put it in your pocket, take it out, roll it around in your hands later. Maybe you're the one who's on the threshold, ready to make a change. Thank you. Thank you for the honor and the privilege of being able to come back to this chair day after day and bring you these wonderful voices. And as you go forward today, I really invite you to remember you are stronger and wiser than you know.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope you received inspiration for expanding your own social innovation and influence. Help us inspire others by sharing this episode and leaving your comments over at lesliemichaels.com/podcast. For more tips, insights, and support in creating a fully audacious, professional, and personal lifestyle you love, visit our Women We Should Know community on Facebook.